In recent years in Korea, a lot of expressions emphasizing the fun of being alone have been created. They are about eating alone, drinking alone, and traveling alone, etc. Taking a cue from this trend, being an outsider has become common in the workplace for many people. Some even call themselves a voluntary outsider at work. According to a survey, about half of the respondents thought of themselves as an outsider in the office, but most of them were proud of being one. This is a clear deviation from the norm when it comes to building one's career path. It is not what you know, but who you know. The belief had been especially strong in Korea. What school you went to and what town you were from were the most important factors to determine your career success. Under the old traditions, being an outsider at work was almost like a curse. But now, more and more office workers choose to be alone, which they find more comfortable and productive. There are also those who think differently. For them, being well connected is the key to building a successful career path. Moreover, you spend most of your day working in the office. Wouldn't it be boring and lonely to be all alone, only focusing on work without having any social connections? Also, information is very important for your corporate life. How would you work your way up the corporate ladder without knowing what's going on around you? There isn't only one definition about a desirable office life, so the choice is up to everyone. What can be said for sure, though, is unlike the past, Koreans now prefer loosely connected, voluntary relationships at work stemming from common interests and hobbies. Artificial relationships based on the same school and the same hometown is gradually becoming a thing of the past, at least among the younger generation. You should keep your work life separate from your personal life. Merit is the thing that counts in the office. So I said keeping your work life separate from your personal life. That means when you're at work, a lot of times people will ask you, how is your husband? How is your wife? How is your kids? Or even if you're not married, are you dating anyone? Those are very personal questions. So if you're trying to keep your work life separate from your personal life, it means you don't talk about what you do outside of work. It's kind of private to you. And then second, I said, merit is the thing that counts in the office. So merit is your performance. It doesn't really matter who you are or how much people like you. If you are successful in your job and do the work and do more work than it's expected, that's merit. So in a merit-based system, it means you are rewarded for the work you do, not the school you went to or your personality or how people like you. The accomplishments in the office outweigh your social interactions with your coworkers. So I said the accomplishments in the office outweigh. So if something outweighs, that means if you looked at a scale, one side is bigger or better than the other. So your accomplishments outweigh your social interactions. That means it's more important to accomplish things and do your work than to be friendly with your coworkers. Having a lot of personal connections at work can put a strain on how you feel both in and out of the office. This will eat into your personal time. So first, I said, put a strain on how you feel. If something is putting a strain on something, it's having a negative effect. For example, if you have a married couple and there's money is a problem, or that the lack of money is putting a strain on the relationship. So the couple might fight a lot more and argue more about money. But if they had more money, there would be, less strain. And then second, I said, this will eat into your personal time. If something eats into something, it means that it's kind of taking away from something not in a good way. So for example, again, if you lost your job, you might have to start eating into your savings. So you not having a job, that's eating into your savings. It's withdrawing the money you saved in a negative way. Or, if you work at a company and the boss is always asking you to go to meetings that make no sense, that's eating into the time when you could be productive or the time you could be working in. Go along to get along is important when working in an office. If you want to get ahead, you need strong personal connections. So go along to get along is an expression we use kind of as advice to someone, especially working in an office. So for example, if your boss wants to have dinner with you 3 times a week, you should go along. That means go with him. to get along. To get along means to have a good relationship. To get along with other people, that means you're friendly and you have good connections with other people. So go along to get along is usually the phrase we use. Getting along with your colleagues at work is necessary to have a stable career. Your social network can help you down the road. So I said you need to have good relationships with your colleagues to have a stable career. A stable career means that you work at one company for a relatively long time, about 5 years or more. If you see someone who skips and jumps around every company every 1 or 2 years, that is an unstable career. So a stable career is working at the same place for a long time. And I said your social network can help you down the road. Down the road means an unspecific amount of time in the future. So if you make good connections now, maybe 2, 4, 6, 10 years later down the road, those will help you in the future. Labeling yourself as an outsider will cause negative feelings for both you and the company. You may think you feel ostracized. This will affect your performance at work. So labeling yourself as an outsider, I think on Naver it's asa, but yeah, we would say like an outsider. Also, like we could use the word outcast, but that's more if a group of people kind of say, look, you can't hang out with us anymore. That person's more of an outcast, an outsider. And sometimes we might even use like, oh, that guy is a rebel. A rebel means he's not doing what everyone else is doing. He's doing his own thing. He's being an individual. And I say you may think you feel ostracized. Ostracized means that like you have a feeling that no one else likes you, that people are pushing you out. So if you kind of self-select yourself as an outsider, it may cause a negative feeling that you think that, well, since I'm an individual, people must not like me. So it could lead to negative feelings in the future. Certain feelings of detachment can follow if you choose to be an outsider in your company. This could negatively affect the way you work. So certain feelings of detachment. So the opposite would be attachment. So if you look at a couple, they love each other very much, they're very attached. But over time, they might start to feel detachment or detached. It means they start growing apart. So if you're feeling detachment, it means you're kind of emotionally pulling away from a company, a person, or something you really like. It means you don't feel the same kind of strong connection as you did in the past. All right, thanks guys for downloading. Just have a couple of announcements. I came out with my first book called Modern Slang Expressions. It's only on the Google Play Store right now. So if you just search Modern Slang or Matthew Fury, Feurey, you'll be able to get the book. It's only about 4,000 won, and it's kind of our first draft. And I've got a lot of great suggestions about how to fix it. Like there's going to be a section where we add phonetics in English and do some other things with the hyperlink. It's only in English right now. We'll be translating it to Korean later. But if you want to get up to date on the most modern slang expressions, please download the book. And also, if you do have any suggestions about the book, please direct message me at MATTSSAM on Instagram. You guys have been really supportive, and I really appreciate it. So thank you all. You guys have been great, and I will talk to you next time. Oh, also, I will be starting another podcast. It will be an OPIC podcast, so talking about the OPIC tests, strategies, and sample answers. So look forward to that. Thanks again. Bye-bye.